This MMA 30 video is brought to you by Cheaterville.com. Did someone post your name as a cheater? Find out now at Cheaterville.com.
Yeah, people have been pumping me up a lot. I think, you know, in kind of my last fight, and they think that I'm the guy to fight for the title, or, you know. So yeah, I think that they'd just go ahead and put me as a favorite. I don't really, you know, we have a really even sort of record. One of us might have fought harder opponents. I can't say that I have. I just figured that one of us has probably had, with all those fights, I think one of us has had some harder opponents in there. I know that everybody I fought has been really, they've been really tough. I've never been fed any squids, so we've both had a lot of fights and a lot of the same type of victory, finish, knockout, whatever.
How'd you feel after you looked at the tape of you beating up BJ? How'd you feel about that fight, and is there anything that you took from that moving forward into this one?
You know, I didn't like fighting the BJ. I didn't like the whole drama with that whole thing, and the after. Yeah, the only thing that how I rationalized everything as being right and okay on my part is that, you know, originally BJ Penn was from my school, and he came from Half Gracie. And I believe that that's why you've seen what you've seen out of him, and that's why you see what you see out of me, is on account of our background and where we came from, and our original instructors. And you know, they like to say that BJ Penn got his black belt in, like, you know, a couple of years or something like that, but it's not true, because he was training with his brothers that were training with the Gracies, you know, for long before he ever started with Caesar and Half from my team. And he showed up to make his debut with David Terrell and Steve Heath the same day. I think somewhere like in Lodi or Stockton, which is the craziest thing. So I was sitting right in the middle of this shit. I know what was, I know what really is.
Since 137, how has your family's life or your life improved, or has it?
I'm happy I'm able to take care of my brother and the people who I care about. You know, I'm able to put in on and give back a little bit, because you know, I've been stepping over people and, you know, and walking over people to get where I'm going in this for a long time. So
I was actually just curious how you feel about Nate in light of his performance against Cerrone. He's got a big fight coming up against Jim Miller. Just wondered about the evolution of him, and people are starting to compare him to you, saying he's a lot more like you now as a fighter.
He tapped out Gray Maynard. Tapped out Gray Maynard before Gray Maynard, and then I said that he won the fight. I mean, who landed more punches in that fight? You know, who took more damage in that fight? You know, you ask him, you say, hey, like, you know, did you throw more punches? Did you land more punches? And how did you win the fight? Why do you think you won the fight? Ask him to tell you that he won that fight. You know, that was a long time ago. I had to bring up old things. I'm just saying, like, my brother, he's better than these guys out here. A lot of them at 170 pounds, you know. But I think that, you know, he deserves a title shot. I think that he deserves a title shot, and that they are that he's, you know, kind of underrated right now. They're acting like he just beat Donald Cerrone. They're talking like Donald Cerrone was the next, you know, big thing out here. But now that my brother wins, you know, he should take the place of Donald Cerrone kind of thing. But I don't know. That's just how I feel, what it seems like. So.
Nick, how do you stay focused on Carlos Condit when everyone wants to jump ahead and ask about GSP and look forward to you fighting GSP after this fight?
But I think for Carlos Condit is a much more dangerous opponent. You know, you have a lot more to be afraid of if you're standing in front of a guy like that than George. You know, George is going to try to go on top, and he's going to try to do what he does, and that's not so bad if you can deal with that sort of thing. But a guy like Carlos, you know, things don't start going your way, then it starts to fall into a downward spiral, much like you've seen in the past when you've seen him fight or me fight. You know, it starts to become the beginning of the end for, you know, the other guy. So I don't like to fight a lot, because I do fight a lot. It's not like I have a lot of choice in this. Somewhere when I was a kid, I had decided that I was never going to not fight or pull out of a fight, or even if I was injured, or just I wasn't going to do any of that, especially on account of you know, being scared, or, you know, I would push myself to make sure that I would make these fights, and I wasn't gonna, you know, back out of any fight. I was gonna basically do what I was told, and do what my trainer, Cesar Gracie, you know, put me in a fight, and I'm gonna respect my instructor, and I'm gonna take these fights. If you ask me, in my opinion, it's like they're trying to beat me down and take me out. I don't get a break, but they want me to fight George, sure, but now, you know, who knows, maybe George isn't really hurt, you know. Anybody seen any pictures of surgery? Because I haven't. I don't know, maybe they are all everywhere and everybody knows about it, and I just haven't seen it. I want to see like some photograph, video, you know. I'm not saying, hey, George is, you know, ain't hurting. Like, I don't know, you're working out already? I'm gonna get surgery. I've had friends had surgery on their knee. I figure I let you chop my knee open, I ain't gonna be fighting for next year, you know what I mean? So I don't know, sometimes I wonder if, is it like, you know, they like me out here, they don't like me, they think I'm an exciting fighter, they don't think I really don't know this sort of thing. And so, you know, I wonder sometimes, are they just trying to beat me down? Because I fought more than I fought every 2 months, 3 months, you know. I've had 5 fights in a year, plenty of times, and I'm still consistent with 3 or 4 fights a year. And,
so you would like the time off then? And
not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'd like to get credit, and I would like to get paid. Pretty much. I would like, you know, to some acknowledgement that I'm, you know, all the guys I fought were hard too. I didn't have any warm-up fights or easy fights. I had to fight those guys. So I don't like to fight. I don't like to do this. This is my job. It's just like, you know.
So I guess the question though is, will you take a fight at middleweight? Will you enjoy the time off, or will you know, make that money and get back in the cage and take another fight before George?
If you're gonna make it worth it, if you're gonna negotiate that with my manager and my trainer, and my coach is gonna tell me this is what we're gonna do, and this is what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna, you know, it's business.
This MMA 30 video is brought to you by Cheaterville.com. Did someone post your name as a cheater? Find out now at Cheaterville.com.